I'm used to it at this point.
Used to suffering.
Used to fuckery. That's what I'm used to. Here we are with another episode of the damn Annegirls Podcast.
So happy to be here.
Yeah.
Talking about Lasher. Still!
Yep, Lasher chapters 11 through 15 today.
Yeah, some of these chapters are snoozy, and then there's like 2 chapters with way too much fuck shit in it. And I'm so confused. Why? Why it's like this?
Yeah, I don't understand why she couldn't break things up. I mean,
I just wonder if there are any articles. I'm not gonna look. I'm just wondering out loud here about her writing method, especially when she was going through writing these. Because I'm just curious. Not enough to actually look. Just enough to be curious.
well, yeah, or like if she, I mean, the chance is over, but it would have been nice if she would have written something like Stephen King or Diana Gabaldon did, where they wrote about their process and, because obviously she was a wildly popular author.
Yeah.
I don't know though, maybe just wasn't her thing, but I have a lot of questions in retrospect, like
For this chunk or just her in general?
just her in general. Like I wish I had a time machine just so I could just go back and ask her several hundred questions about
And I just
why.
she even answer those because of her approach to like fanfic writers. I just wonder if she would even be like, oh, deal with it.
Yeah.
Deal with it, shawties. Which we are, but we're complaining about it.
Yes, this is what we do. We complain.
This is a
Um
podcast, I guess. Chapter 11 was a Yuri chapter, and I don't remember what it was because literally all I wrote was Yuri.
let's see. It says it's an extra short chapter leading on the intrigue of the Talamasca. We start to see how the Talamasca is structured, and I think that this is just Yuri was getting threatened in an airport. Like they were telling him that he needed to go like talk to some guy, and he's like, fuck y'all, and got on the plane anyway.
They're trying to peel him off of Aaron Leitner, but like they know him, like they should
yeah.
kind of know that's not gonna go well.
If they would have leaned into the Talamasca stuff a little bit more and like stopped hitting me, blindsiding me with all the fucking family drama shit, I might have gotten into it a little bit more. But to me, it's just like the way that this is structured, it's something that's on the top and it's annoying because like I want to know what the fuck is going on with the weird thing that is blowing up uteruses right now. So I'm just like speed reading through the rest of these chapters. Let me be honest. I want to know what's going on with the uteruses. That's my priority.
The uteruses, they're exploding
at an alarming rate. Yes.
like he's just popping uteruses left and right. So they're calling the family. Any family member with a uterus, don't be alone. Like you could stop. And then Mona's like, it's not a virus.
Let's just go ahead and skip up on that note. Let's skip up to chapter 13 really quick because I have a question about the uterus thing. Why are you banging postmenopausal women and how is it working? Because they're saying that they're having they're saying that they're having miscarriages. So that means that you're banging somebody that no longer has eggs in their body, but they're somehow conceiving.
Yeah.
How is that working? I want to know the mechanics. This is a question I have for Anne. Like,
or is this a question for Lasher? Because maybe his method is let's work our way from the least viable to the most viable. Well, technically the most viable he has tied up in a hotel room not for
Shitting
long.
and pissing herself in the
Yeah,
bed.
which is gross. And like you're communicating telepathically with the baby that lives in her inside of her, and you're still going to let her, like, you're still gonna tie her up and treat her like that? That's psychotic to me. It's he's it's like I know. He's like an animal, blah 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 blah. He's not a human, but like,
He's a humanoid though. And the other
yeah,
thing is I thought maybe the reason he's banging old people is he doesn't realize that old women can't have babies.
I don't,
But
I don't think that he
I've
knows a
read
lot.
on. Yeah, and I've read on, and I know that female Taltos have a similar thing befall them. They call it something different. It's kind of weird, but
Don't tell me what it is. I'll
yeah.
horrify myself when I get there.
Yo, you
Um,
need to. You need to.
okay. Um, I am horrified. I am horrified and deeply uncomfortable reading this. I am.
Yes.
Um, but I mean, like, since we're already there at chapter 13, the screenshot that I took, because just so everyone knows, I have stopped taking notes because that does not serve me. I'm just taking screenshots while I have the ebook. I keep checking it out from the library. It's because it's like I have the book, but I don't want it in my bed. I don't want it to be by me. So
It's
it
got
just
bad energy.
has very bad juge. Did you feel that? Bum, bum. That was from the book. Oh my
Yep.
God. Take a shower after you listen to this. Um, so yeah, this screenshot, it's like um they were talking about Edith Mayfair dying, and like she was a spinster and lived alone with her cats, so she was just dead on the bathroom floor with an exploded uterus, and her cats were licking up the blood.
I mean, that's kind of like a classic gothic image, I have to say, like the old spinster with that dies and her cats eat her or like eat her
Yeah,
fluids.
there's
Like
yeah, I feel like this chunk definitely something a thing that
I'm
I'm a
gonna I'm gonna give myself an 80% chance of going out that way. So,
you know, I had a feeling.
but
Say that
hopefully my uterus won't be exploded by fucking a caveman guy.
you just gave me indigestion. Now, one thing I'm gonna stop commenting on because we've done it enough is how Anne must be this or Anne must be that, um,
Mhm.
based on what she's writing, because we'll never fucking know. But
No.
also, you know, I feel like because we have a horror podcast, I don't lump this in with horror, but then these things happen while we're reading these books, and I'm like, no, this is horror. I don't care
Mhm.
what anyone says. I'm sitting here clutching my pearls and my tummy and my uterus, and I'm horrified.
So they were saying that like Gifford was in this, bracket of postmenopausal women, like that comment goes. Um, how old was she supposed to be? Like I wasn't imagining Gifford that old. I thought she was like, 30s, 40s, but
No,
maybe oh, she's
no,
older.
yeah, I
Okay.
do remember that. I like didn't get when I was reading her chapter or whatever that her uterus had exploded, but definitely that she was older.
Okay. Um,
She's just a hot older lady. She was rip.
yep. Um, I just think it's hilarious though, because like even all of this aside, he's banging these old biddies, whatever.
Mhm.
He's banging them so hard apparently with such amazing jizz that it causes them to have one last egg that they can miscarry.
I don't like. I feel like they're classifying them as miscarriages, but they're not. I feel like maybe their human brains just really can't comprehend that the uterus just exploded, like that he exploded because most of them don't even realize it's
Yeah.
Lasher. They're like, oh, a weird thing's happening.
Well, I mean, it happens pretty quick too, and usually a miscarriage takes a while. But I mean, also, I don't know if you noticed in the first book, she was not to like 9 months gestation when she had Lasher. Taltos don't need as long of gestation, so it could be a miscarriage. I don't remember. I don't remember like what it actually is. I just have so many questions.
Every time you say Taltos, I die inside. I hate
Well,
that.
it's the third book title, so I'm just going to bring it into the lexicon now. So
All right. Well, so you're just killing me slowly. That's fine. I
I'm
signed up for
sorry.
it. Like,
We only have like we're this far through.
we're more than halfway through. We're like
Yeah.
50%.
And then the last book is just I think it might even be shorter, so
Good. Good.
we're getting there.
Yeah, all right. Let's talk about chapter 12 because
Okay.
oh my God, I cannot express. I have a bunch of screenshots, but I am horrified. I'm so fucking horrified. I wanted to pluck my eyeballs out of my face and wash them and put them back in, or just not, because then I don't have to read this. About the whole situation having Rowan captive, what he's doing to her, aside from like tying her up and leaving her with no food and to just shit all over herself. Okay, aside from that, like when he's there, I feel like it's worse because he breastfeeds off of her and bones her, and sometimes at the same time. What?
Breastfeeding is so weird. It's so
fucking gross.
I'm sorry, but that has to be a kink. There's just no, it's too fucking
It
weird.
is. I'm sure it is. There's a kink for anything, but like I literally feel like throwing up. And I don't have a weak stomach. Well, it's weakened reading this and the choices of movies I've been watching lately. But it actually makes me feel physically ill when I read these. And it's real fucked up because this entire chapter, first, before I go into that, she's describing him, right? But like, it's like even when we know he's a long noodle, goofy, like so bitch. Okay, we know that, but she's trying to make him still handsome, okay? Because she says he's alarmingly thin, but he was strong and he's stalwart.
Okay, you know what? Alarmingly thin people can be hot. Shut up.
No, listen, that's what I'm getting at. He says, with none of the twisted neurotic apology of the very lanky, the underfed, and the overgrown, and his hair is very long. So, like, she's trying to say that even though he's giving medicinal milk, he's not. He's more than that.
Fuck you. Fuck you, bitch. Okay, in my opinion, the hottest man that has walked this earth looks like he fucking needs medicinal milk. Okay? Just leave him alone.
Sure. In my opinion, the best looking men don't bang you while breastfeeding from you.
No, they do not. And the other thing I'm sorry, like I thought it was funny. So you were getting grossed out. I'm sitting here laughing my fucking ass off because one paragraph she's describing breastfeeding and like the feeling of breastfeeding, and the next one he's fucking her in the tub, and with this description, his cock was thick and slightly curved.
Yeah, but I don't think that's fucking funny. It makes me want to die. Like, why am I wasting time on this? What the fuck are you doing to me? Why?
I laughed so fucking hard at that. I'm sorry.
But the thing is, like, we're on two different sides of the spectrum. There is a spectrum of people. I'm not fucking judging you if you happen to listen to this, because I still believe, and I said before, there's going to be a cross section of Anne Rice fans who may come across this and be super pissed at us for our opinions. There is some people, I'm sure it's more than one, who think that's hot. They love
I'm
it.
sorry, I am immature as fuck. So if you say cock and
Well,
just that,
there's that
like
sexy have using the word.
well, I'm. It's not just that. Okay, first of all, I'm gonna laugh at anything like dick, cock, anything like that. Like I'm immediately gonna give you a chuckle. Okay, I got it. You got a chuckle out of me. But when you have him like mama milking her first, and then the next paragraph is talking about the shape of his fucking dick, dude, I was howling. I'm sorry. I can't help it. I am
I
too
passed
immature for this shit.
away. I passed away. Okay, I passed away reading this chapter because on top of that, it's so fucked up. It's long. It's long as
It's
shit.
so long, yeah.
It's so fucked up because you got that. You got her trying to make this sexy, but you also have this like I don't have a word for their dynamic. I don't have any. Because she's describing all this horrible shit first of all, and then she's like, but I couldn't possibly leave him. She saw like places where she could have escaped and she didn't take it until the end, and she's, oh, I couldn't leave him. Why? Literally, you guys are fucking each other up. Like, they're literally, she
Yeah.
fucked him up with a lamp. He's punching her in the face. Like, it is not okay. It's not okay at all.
Well, she sees him as an experiment as well, which is it's weird. She says that like in the narrative, she'll say that she has feelings, right? Which I'm sure, there is an amount of bonding that happens, especially like I don't know. I'll
Yeah.
give her that. Like there's probably some kind of like neurochemical reason for her to have some sort of feeling about him, right? And then there's the fact that she sees him as a science experiment, and then the fact that she sees him as her child, which is really fucking weird.
No, he's not though. He came out a
I
grown man.
know.
He's
I
a grown man
know.
with a soft
And
spot.
also you've got to understand how bad it tears you up downstairs when you have a kid. Like
Yes.
bitches be wearing diapers for a
Yeah.
month afterwards, right? So how the hell is he getting right in there? Like just getting
And
right
she's
back
like
in there.
okay with it. She's like, oh,
Uh-uh.
I'm
I'd
like,
rip his cock off and throw it out the window. Just like, fuck you.
I
No.
wouldn't. I don't know. I don't know. And then like the dynamic's so messed up that sometimes like she talks about it like that, and then sometimes she's like, oh, he raped me, and sometimes she's like, it, you know, it
But
felt.
also, we have Rowan's history of it, of the make it rape thing. So she probably thinks that's fucking hot.
It's confusing.
It's
It's
stressful. That's what it
it's
is.
very stressful, um uh, you know the whole abuse factor is just a lot for me, and for you to make it that fucking long when you could just
Not.
give me a
It's just
break.
not. You could choose not to.
But then that makes me wonder. I'm not like, I don't know Anne Rice. All I know is the shit she writes. If
Hmm.
she had fun writing these chapters, not, I don't know what that says about you as a person, because like, you're writing a story,
Hmm.
and I don't know what that says, but this just makes me feel like she must really enjoy weaving this part for those parts to be so long.
Hmm. I don't know. I've written some stuff as a writer that like no way in hell I would ever want to befall me IRL. But
Sure.
some of this shit, like the repetitiveness of it, like the breastfeeding stuff, that's got to be a cake. I'm sorry. Like she created
Yeah.
an entire race of proto-humans that breastfeed as adults.
Yeah, it's weird.
That's got to be a kink. There's just no way around it.
I don't know about that. I know that I've written some weird stuff. I really struggle writing certain things, and then there's other things I feel like it I don't know, it just lets me access a different part of myself, and I'm like, okay, I'm
Mhm.
really getting words out. Let me keep going and see where this takes me. Like
Yeah.
I can really appreciate that. You people don't they're not all gonna be bangers for everybody.
No.
Something for, this is obviously not for us, but that it's I mean, like she's popular for a reason,
Yeah.
and these books sold a lot of copies, and there's a show now. It obviously it's not going to show Lasher breastfeeding her. Hopefully, hopefully, how can they
I
avoid that?
so want to see where this series is going because I forgot a lot from my first read of these.
Yeah,
I walked away from my first read loving these books. I thought I had a good time the first time I read it, but for me, I think what I did was I focused so much. I mean, I don't know how I got past all the fucking incest, especially this Julian chapter in here, but
I'm not judging you. Just know that I'm not judging you for loving them the first time. I'm not. I
uh
wouldn't judge you for
well
them.
no, it's okay. Even if you were, I don't fucking care. Like I'm kind of judging myself there now that I reread them, but I was young and stupid. And for me, what I saw was like a haunted house and a gothic family story, which I like that stuff. Like that was my jam. That's why another podcast episode that we're going to handle here at some point this weekend is The Haunting. The first time I watched that movie, I fucking loved that movie because of the aesthetic of it, not because the story and not because the dialogue, because the dialogue is fucking awful in that movie.
Oh my
But
god, fucking Owen Wilson's wow.
but it's the vibe of it, and I think it's just like that movie we watched, that Carnival of Souls movie that I always come back to, where it's like the aesthetic is so beautiful and like brilliant in some ways, and like my brain, my mind wants to go and build stories and universes in that aesthetic, and so
Mhm.
that's why I get attached to it despite the fact that the story itself is dog shit, and I think that's what I did. And I think that, and I mean, this isn't a dog shit story per se, but there's a lot of stuff in it that makes me question what the fuck I was thinking the first time through. One thing I will say is the way that she writes the Scotland shit. It sounds like she listened to that Stonehenge song by Spinal Tap and just like went with it. It,
Maybe
it
she
just
didn't. We don't know.
it just does not actually like it's like the most like graze, like you just graze the subject in your reading and you didn't actually put research into it, which isn't like her in a lot of respects, but it's so just like goofy. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm happy that I survived uh chapter 12.
Before we go on, I want to say something about like, I don't know if you noticed, but like she starts asking Lasher questions about like metaphysical things, and he has the same responses kind of as the vampires have, which is like, I don't know, don't ask me. Like, uh, I've never seen any proof of God, and she has this way of just like taking these immortal, or like he was a spirit before, like these long-lived creatures, and making them very atheistic edge lords. Like,
Yeah, but I think that's very true. But then that I think that's why I loved Memnote the Devil so much, because
mhm.
she brought that, like she put the lid on that.
Yeah.
Oh no, you about to meet Jesus.
But what I think is interesting about it is like her perception of what it would be like to have like such a long memory, like that you would be so fucking cynical. um which that's one way to look at it.
I mean, yeah, I when I used to read the Vampire Chronicles, I would wonder all the time, what would I do with such a long life? I feel like there would be multiple times where I'm like, fuck it, I'm going back into the dirt. I'm
Yep.
100 years or something.
Dude, I have a short finite human life, and there are times where I'm like, fuck it, I just want to die.
Let's go into the dirt, my
Yep,
guy.
let's fucking go.
About time I plan my dirt vacation.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. At the end of chapter 12, though, is when, because she didn't know she was pregnant. We're
Yeah.
reading these Emma chapters, and she had no idea she was pregnant, and Lasher was keeping that. But he lets her know, haha, bitch, I already got you pregnant. And the way he talks to Emily sickens me. Like, you're my baby, you're my daughter, you're my wife. And I'm like, well, that's on track for literally everything else.
No, what I wanted to bring up is it's on track with everything else. What's interesting though is these witches are being bred through the
Yeah.
years to be able to bring him into the world, right? So they're becoming more like him. They're exhibiting the behaviors of the Taltos. So in a way it gives them a little bit of an excuse for their fucking awful behavior.
Yeah, but also,
Yes, I know. I know. That's why I was like, I
oh
see
my
where
God.
you're going here. I see where you're going, and I don't like it.
I don't like it one bit, but that's a really good segue into chapter 14. I am so done hearing about Julian. I'm so done. I don't want to hear about it from his perspective. I don't care what his ghost is telling Michael. I don't care. This whole like Julian as a 3-year-old having these highly intelligent conversations with Marie Claudette, suck my ass.
Yeah,
He's 3.
he's 3. Yeah.
Okay, get out of here. Don't talk to me. Miss me.
I want to present one argument towards you, though,
Okay.
that Michael is worse than Julian in every way. And you want to know why?
Wow. Yeah.
Julian, when he does the worst fucking thing that Julian has really done so far, when he rapes his sister when she's grieving,
Yeah.
he feels remorse. Michael rapes a child. Yes, it was his sister, but she was an adult woman. Michael rapes a child, not a fucking shred of it. In fact, the only time he has like any moral issues with what he did is when he thinks about somebody's outside perception of what he did. He has no recollection or like no reflection. And the thing about it is Julian's even like, I'm gonna go to hell for this. I'm gonna like he knows he did wrong. And the fact that Julian, who is so fucked up, so monumentally damaged, can have that reflection, but Michael can't. Michael the angel, Michael the hero, shows you what a piece of shit Michael is.
Julian does fuck a child. He does rape a child.
Well, he does, but
Yes.
that's
I'm not
after he goes off the fucking rails too. That's when he's an old fucking man too.
I don't care about any of that. I want to make it clear I'm not a Michael apologist. I don't care who's worse. I totally I hear you, girlfriend. I support that argument because Michael fucking sucks. But you know,
Julian's a piece of shit. Like there's no way of defending. I'm not defending Julian with this argument. I just want to present Julian as a giant piece of shit, but Michael is somehow worse than Julian, and she's trying to frame him as the hero, and that makes me very sus as to what her motivations are here.
yeah, because I never once liked Michael. Not even at the very beginning. I literally could not have possibly cared less about Michael's background, who he is now, how he almost drowned. He should have drowned, bitch.
Yeah.
He should have drowned.
The sea was calling him.
Yes.
Literally.
Seriously, let him answer the call and stay there. I was mad. I was mad about this chapter because she's literally like this just supports that thing we said about her either not knowing how to write children or choosing not to write them as children, which I'm leaning towards that one. Because she's really talking about, like, he's saying, like most children, he says, I was erotically mad at age 3 and then 4. First of all, we don't remember 3 and 4 that way at all. I don't care how smart, I don't care that he was born into a family of witches. That's not how that works. He's not a Taltos. He's just a human boy.
He's a human boy. all I remember from age 4, that's my earliest memory, was I got a turtle box, one of those green turtles, for my birthday, and I remember the smell of it and laying in it. And that's it. That's all I remember is that tactile memory of it. That's the only memory I have from that year. And I only know that that was 4 because I have a picture of myself on my 4th birthday with that.
What she said, okay? This is absurd. This is absurd. And I'm like, don't fucking talk to me. He's 3.
Yeah.
And like, you got him out here like trying sexy things as a 3-year-old. Lasher's like feeling him up and like making him feel pleasures as a child. It's all gross. Like we get it. Lasher's disgusting. You could skip this part.
Yes.
I don't want to read that, but then
Lasher's nasty.
they show more about, stealing voodoo things and all
Yeah.
that shit. And was this the one? Yep. Yeah.
The
I'm sorry.
baby. Yeah.
This chapter had me riled up from the kid stuff, and then talking about the experience that he's doing with his mom, and like she's like this crazy Marguerite. She's like I had enough of her fucking ass in the first book. She needs Jesus. That's as nice as I can put it, because they're doing these experiments on bodies and people who are not dead, on getting Lasher in there, and she's like a mad scientist using black babies, and it makes me want to kill her. I know she's not real, but like reading that, it's horrifying. That's the kind of horror I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Back to the witching hour when, they were making voodoo dolls with the fingernails on what's his face and possessing the old guy at the dinner table. But this is like,
So, so Steph, I did want to ask you about that. One thing we learn in this chapter is that Julian saw through Lasher and the dolls, like that they were it was like an enchantment that Lasher was putting on them. So putting that into perspective, what do you think about Michael's little vision trip from before, when he touched the dolls and he could like see the different people, knowing that's just Lasher? So what if all of Michael's shit was just Lasher fucking with them to get him to fuck Rowan, pretty much? Like from the beginning, that was all Lasher.
Yes. After this chapter and seeing like Lasher
manipulating like the male members, like
right, because
Julian,
he
and
doesn't fuck with the men, and he's like, all right, well, since Julian has the stuff I need, I'm gonna make you fuck your sister. And then keep going, because this is the line that I'm trying to create. I don't excuse Julian at all, but I definitely think that's a thing. And men are ultimately weak up here and down here. Down there especially. Put your penis away. I'm just mad.
Yeah, I think that it kind of explained more about Michael's past than I realized the first time I read through this and stuff, because like you realize how much Michael's being used exactly the same way that Julian was.
Yeah.
And how he threw Julian away, and then he kind of threw Michael away as well once they became not as useful anymore. But Julian reasserted his power, saying, I'll fucking kill this baby, which is fucked up, but
I shouldn't be laughing at that. It's just there's so much horrible shit in here, and I'm not gonna share all of the screenshots because they're actually really fucked up. But for anybody who like wants to or feels like the baby Julian stuff is okay, there is literally this scene where Lasher's doing the stuff to him, and he says, after it was finished with me and I lay there, a little puddle of baby juice beside mother's sleeping body. It's a little puddle of baby juice. How do you feel okay writing that? Hello? I can't.
I cannot either. I remember seeing that and being horrified by that phrase baby juice.
Yeah, they're just horrific shit. Like one of the experiments, it actually makes me nauseous. Like one of them died and she throws it. Marguerite throws it at the mirror and it like explodes in like blood and gore. And I'm just like, this is awful. It's a dead baby. And they call it a nameless dead child among her perfumes and shit.
Yeah. That whole thing was absolutely horrifying. Anything where they're taking advantage of another living, it's one thing for her to experiment on corpses, which whatever, it's gross, but
whatever, they're dead.
yeah.
I cannot with the babies. Like, it gives me indigestion.
Yeah.
So like, she did a great job at like horrifying me.
Yeah.
I can't wait until we're done with this and then I can get to the part where I forget the phrase baby juice.
Yes.
Please.
Like, may I just forget it now? Like, immediately. Like, I don't want to hear that anymore.
No, done. And then it goes from that long, excruciatingly painful chapter to Mona visiting Alicia in the hospital and first of all realizing that her nurse is a cunt. And I never like to refer to women as cunts. That bitch should be sued. And then she finds out Alicia's uterus is exploded. Dun, dun, dun.
It wasn't a good time, but none of these little pieces of the book have been a good time, so I'm used to it at this point.
Used to suffering.
Used to fuckery. That's what I'm used to. All right, I guess that's it for this little installment. We'll be back with more.
Really?
Bye. Thank you for listening to the Annegirls Podcast. You can find us on the internet at annegirls.ghostinthemagazine.site.